Welcome to another edition of the Florida Chamber's Bottom Line. I'm Edie Owsley, Vice President of Public Affairs at the Florida Chamber of Commerce. And joining us today is Peter Schorsch. He is President of Extensive Enterprises. Peter, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So, Peter, we're coming down to the last few weeks of the 2019 legislative session. We're beginning to see bills fully pass out of the legislature and head to Governor DeSantis's desk. Let's do a lightning round and talk about the issues, some of the major hot issues, and get your perspective and your take on how they're moving through.
Well, at long last, AOB is on its way to a governor's desk. And that wasn't an easy travel for that bill, but at long last, after a really strong grassroots effort, it has made its way to Governor DeSantis's desk, and I expect him to sign it, and it's much needed relief.
Yeah, absolutely. It's taken about 7 years to get AOB reform to the governor's desk.
It's a dog's year.
Absolutely. So let's talk about President Galvano's top priority, and that is smart growth in his infrastructure bill. What do you see happening with that one?
Well, as somebody that lives in Tampa Bay, I would love to see some of those roads built into and around that area to the other parts of the state. I think he made the right decision making a deal last week to get his priorities passed, and I think that is going to be his legacy 10 years from now. We're going to be able to get to some of the parts of the state that need the economic development in a lickety-split kind of time.
So let's switch gears over to education, K through 12 education. Thinking about parents, students, and teachers, expanding educational opportunities. How are you seeing that one coming in for a landing?
I think we have to look at that as a long-term fight. I think that there's going to be a lot of progress made in reducing the people that are on the list for help now. I don't know if it will be as expansive as Governor DeSantis and some of the education proponents had wanted, but over the next year and the next 4 years, I think we're going to make a lot of progress there.
Peter, let's move to telehealth. What are your thoughts on how that will succeed this session?
I think it is going to make it across the line. I think it's a priority of the speaker. You know, I go to the mall, I look in there, and there are telehealth options there. I go in there and get a vitamin B shot. That's a kind of progress that we need more of if we're going to reform our healthcare system.
And what about targeted tax reform? As business rent tax, sales tax holidays, perhaps back to school, perhaps hurricane relief?
I think we're going to get something. We're just not going to get what we wanted. We got to remember the impact that Hurricane Michael had on the state budget, probably cut into some of the money that would have gone to that. So a little bit now, maybe a little bit more next year, which is next session's only 9 months away.
I think you're right with that. And I also think that for our legislative leaders, President Galvano and Speaker Oliva, and of course Governor DeSantis over in the executive branch, it's been a good and successful year, or will have been a good and successful year for them. So Peter, thank you so much for joining us. And to our viewers, thank you so much for joining us on another edition of the Florida Chamber's Bottom Line.